All right, welcome everyone. My name is Caroline Nguyen with the U.S. Customer Marketing Team. I'm here with our Category Marketing Manager for Ergonomics, Lisa Skytbor, who will discuss some golden nuggets and break down health as well, the rise of ergonomics in the mobile workforce. Her knowledge spans from over 10 years of doing ergonomic assessments in a variety of verticals such as healthcare, government, and education. So here's a little overview of what Lisa will cover today. We're going to be talking about trends and opportunities to leverage, changes impacting the market, and some strategies to attach ergo in any vertical. All right, that's it for me, and here is Lisa.
Thanks, Caroline, and thanks everyone for attending today. Obviously, ergo has become a huge buzzword, and it's been a really big trend in the market. So today I just want to talk about first some of the trends and opportunities that we can leverage in the market today. When you think about ergonomics, a lot of times you're looking at just a sit-stand desk or something, but it really goes far beyond that. We all know that ergo does prevent musculoskeletal disorders. You've heard that word. We know that it reduces the cost of injuries, but there's certainly some statistics that back that up and how much it actually reduces the total cost. It also ensures employee comfort and well-being. And then most importantly, the productivity of the worker does actually increase. That being said, when we think about ergo, we think of just the sit stand, or most people do. But let's take a look at some of the other options that are in ergonomic workspaces that we can look at attaching to sales. With monitor arms and stands, that's a great way to be able to actually elevate your monitor to the correct position, as well as laptop stands and risers. It's a great way for people that are on the go or have a secondary monitor to raise it up to the correct height. And for docking stations to have that security piece as well as ease of connectivity, and really making sure that we are in compliance with what the company is looking for as far as connectivity and security, as well as the ergonomic piece of it. An easy way is the supports or the rest for the wrist, the back, the feet, and even what we sit on. A lot of times companies don't want to pour in a lot of money into all new furniture solutions, but they're willing to retrofit what's there to make their employees more comfortable. A big area we will talk about today is personal comfort, which would include fans, heaters, and air purification or air filters for the individual worker. Input devices like specialty keyboards and mice and trackballs, and then privacy screens to make sure that our data does stay secure, as well as making sure that we can find affordable solutions within any budget for a company, small, medium, or large in size. This is something that employees are asking for because of the wellness trends that are out there. In 2017, $60 billion were spent on ergonomic related injuries by healthcare in the US alone. That number is only rising because the #1 cause for workplace injury for the past 10 years has been related to repetitive stress injuries like carpal tunnel or back injuries, or anything related to those things that we're doing day in and day out in our workforce. Some of the amazing statistics around it is that companies that do implement some sort of ergonomic solution or wellness program have seen as much as 81% in decrease in workers' comp cost. There's also been an 88% of decrease in lost workdays for those companies that are providing preventative solutions as a part of their normal workforce. One example is if someone does have an amputation, so they're losing a limb, typically there is only 2 to 3 days post-surgery that is lost time. But for carpal tunnel, with the recovery and all of the stretching, PT, everything that's associated to that specific injury, they can be out of work for as much as 4 to 6 weeks. So you can see how important understanding that prevention piece of it can be, and making sure we do have good solutions in place to increase that employee morale as well as increase the cost. So the ergonomic market is absolutely a gold mine. The TAM in this area is hard to determine because the ergonomic category goes across multiple categories. As we mentioned in the previous slide, you've got keyboards, mice, personal comfort, like we have mentioned here, and then all of the support devices, as well as privacy and security too. With the TAM specifically in air purification, by 2023, we estimate $33 billion in air purification. They're not just a luxury item anymore, they're becoming a necessity with air pollution as well as allergens in the workplace. We all know that everyone can be cold or hot in the workspace, and so having a personal cooling or heating device at your workstation is becoming a vital portion so that companies are able to make sure their employees are happy. You can see that it's over 5% growth estimated each year in this category specifically. So you can only imagine in the other categories that are out there what that TAM can look like specifically. There's so many changes happening in the market today. Ergonomics is constantly changing and growing. And one of the biggest reasons for that is actually the rise in mobile workers. By 2020, 72.3% of the workforce will be mobile in some capacity. And that's almost 3/4 of our workers. One of the reasons why is that we are actually having more mobile devices in the workplace due to technology changes. Prices are dropping constantly. With that is allowing businesses to make more purchases, more refreshments, and larger deployments of those devices. But you can see that you can get basic devices for under $500, $400, and $300. There's also tons of different types of mobile devices. That's not just a laptop in these mobile working environments. We've got, like I said, the whole range from tablets, 2-in-1s, the hybrids, and then the rise of the Surface Pro and Go in the workplace. Anyone in healthcare and small to medium businesses can utilize these devices. That being said, everyone is affected by this change by having more people in the mobile workplace. It used to be that maybe healthcare was the only area that you thought of someone being a mobile worker, but every single vertical has people in every ranking from an entry-level associate all the way up to management being in a mobile working capacity. That may look different for each industry. For construction, it could be someone on a tablet visiting a job site, but they might need a case to go with that, or having a mobile setup for them at home with a keyboard that would attach to that. Or in healthcare, it could be a tablet or laptop with a mice, keyboard, supports to be in their actual office. And a lot of people are working from home in the retail setting as well. With Amazon rising, there's all kinds of opportunity there, as well as larger retailers to have the mobile setup for people in any type of job capacity. Healthcare workers are the largest vertical, with 18% of the total mobile worker population being in this vertical, whether they are office-based or non-office-based. That's a huge vertical that's been untouched for the majority for ergonomics. I do want to go through a couple different types of mobile working environments that are out there, just to have a better understanding if you are talking with a customer to understand what type of workspaces they might be looking at. The first is hot desking, also called hoteling, nomadic working. There's a lot of different surnames for this, but one of the biggest concerns is that there's no assigned seats, so employees are coming and going every single day, multiple times a day, and trying to make that equipment work for them. Many times these stations just have a desktop and a chair, and sometimes they might have a monitor or keyboard or mouse. It just depends on the company. But there's a lot of device compatibility concerns. So if you think about docking, as well as having kind of plug and play options with a monitor arm, with a monitor attached, keyboard supports, mouse supports, and then the keyboard and mouse available, it really makes those environments so much more ergo friendly. And you can even go as far as having the footrest or back support too, being available in the area. Co-working spaces is an emerging market. Basically with these, a lot of urban areas and going into smaller cities as well are having co-working spaces open. This is a great opportunity that's been untouched at this moment for Ergo, as a lot of times it's a individual working in this space or a small business. They would either have a daily or monthly contract with the space, and some items would be provided on a basic format, but there's so much growth in this area to make those spaces more appealing for those monthly clients. It's an affordable solution for startups and those small businesses and people that do work from home, but they want to come to a space that's filled with adjustability and comfort. And then lastly, the remote worker, or people that typically work from home. These people can work truly anywhere. They might be at home, they could be at a Starbucks down the street, they could be in a restaurant, or in any way, anywhere that a sales rep would go to that reaches outside of the sales rep realm as well. But just making sure you understand what that remote worker would need in their workspace at home, as well as when they are working while they're drinking a cup of coffee on the go. Typically, these people have minimal setup available to them, but some companies do provide furniture packages that could include ergonomic devices or peripherals, as well as having an on-the-go package as well. So looking at an entire comprehensive workspace solution is so important when we're looking at having these attached products. We want to make sure that we allow those organizations to get what they need by securing their investments and optimizing the productivity through ergo products, as well as meeting the compliance. So some of those devices are very affordable, easy to use, and some of them would include a docking station to have easy connectivity, and then having the keyboard wrist rest that you can actually rest your wrist on to not have that sharp edge of the desk, and then having a mouse pad to also help keep the health of your wrist intact, and having a mouse and keyboard set that fits the user, or maybe having multiple options of a keyboard and mouse set available to the employees there. Having a copy holder that would allow them to hold their papers in line with their monitor versus having to look down at the desktop. And having a privacy screen that just snaps on that allows them to protect their data that's on the screen without having to strain their eyes to look through it. And then probably one of the most important pieces too is just locking that device down and having a keyed laptop lock that allows your space to be completely secure. With ergo products, the ROI on them is actually an average of every dollar spent. Typically, it provides the company about $5 of savings on workers' comp claims, and that's huge today. It also increases employee morale having those ergo and wellness programs. You saw the stats earlier of over 80% when companies do have those programs intact. Another statistic is that 70% of employees are more likely to recommend their company if they do have an ergo wellness program. So that's great with employee retention. There's companies that are out there that are just waiting to have us sell those solutions to keep their employees happy. If we look at how much it actually pays to accessorize in the ergo market today, we'll take the example of the Surface Go. At $399 per unit cost and having a quantity of 250 with a 2% margin, you can see what the margin would be for that sale of just under $2,000. To accessorize with 3 easy ergo products attached to it, you can see that it's actually over 4 times as much margin that's available to you there. So those are great, easy ways to give the customer a complete solution, as well as increasing their employee wellness and make them want to keep coming back to you because their employees are happier having those products there. So let's talk through some strategies to attach ergo in any vertical. It doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be complicated, and we want to make it as easy as we can. So one size does not fit all. We hear ergonomics and think that it's specialty solutions and it's just for 1 or 2 people. But large companies typically deploy a standard set of products to everyone and don't want to specialize in a smaller stream of products. So Smart Fit is a really great way, with the hand shown below, that you can actually have anyone put their hand onto that diagram and see where their product needs to be adjusted for them, without having an ergonomist or a safety specialist or someone that specializes in the ergo field available. They're able to get that product properly adjusted for them. This can branch out to all main areas of our bodies, such as the back, the neck, the wrist, and even the feet. And many of these items are not supported in the mobile environments. So let's talk a little bit more about wrist health. Everyone's heard of carpal tunnel, and we want to make sure we prevent it. That's one of the leading causes of injuries in the workplace, and it's also one of the most costly. The wrist has a very thin layer of soft tissue and skin that can be compressed where the carpal tunnel is. Any pressure on that carpal tunnel area is going to add to a lack of circulation to get to your fingertips. One of the easiest ways to explain this to a customer is that if you do have a hose as your arm, basically you want to make sure that there's full circulation from your shoulder all the way to your fingertips. Anytime there's a bend or a kink in that arm, or thinking about the pressure on your actual wrist or forearm, you're going to be adding that bend or kink in there, preventing that circulation to get to the tips of your fingers. So the proper placement for these wrist supports that we see on the market today, there's a huge misconception that it needs to be resting on that wrist area. That's actually adding compression. So you want to make sure that you do put that wrist support at the base of your palm, and make sure that it's supporting the wrist to keep it off the edge of the desktop. But really that wrist support should fit the mouse and the keyboard, and making sure that it's at the base of the palm, not resting on the wrist. So you want to make sure that you're avoiding to dip the wrist. Also, speaking of support and that circulation piece, having a footrest that rocks underneath your desk allows that full circulation to go all the way to your fingertips. The same analogy for the hose also would apply to your feet, that you want to make sure that you consistently have a nice, straight, clean leg to get that rocking motion there for the full circulation. And so rising up for wellness. Many times after we sit at the workstation all day long, we typically slouch or twist our neck, and we're always looking around. So one of the proper things we can look at doing is making sure we have easy adjustability available to our customers in the monitors. Whether it's a stationary monitor or a laptop, there's laptop risers, there's monitor risers, and there's monitor arms as well that make adjustability easy and affordable. The proper placement for a monitor would be nice and eye level for the user. And then if you put your hand out in front of you, like a stop sign or a full arm's length extension away from you, that's the proper distance for the monitor to be from the individual. Also, when you are typing or at a workstation, you want to keep your elbows back next to your body. A general rule of thumb is anytime your elbow passes your belly button when you're seated, you're starting to put your shoulder too far forward and compromising that position. So you want to make sure that your elbow stays back next to your body, and that your mouse and keyboard are nice and close to the desk edge. You're not having to strain to see the screen either. So let's talk a little bit about sitting and standing desks. Everyone talks about them. They've been in the news. Are they good? Are they bad? How long do we sit? How short do we sit? How long do we stand? Well, the key to that is that you don't want to sit or stand all day, but it's just about the next movement or about moving continuously. A recent study that was done by Cornell University said that the ideal number of times you should sit and stand throughout the day is actually 16 times per day. As an ergonomics specialist, that is one of the main questions that I was asked in the workforce is how often, how long. And so just making sure that your customers are consistently moving and giving them that knowledge that it's not just one or the other, but making sure that they are moving and going with that fitness trend is certainly key. Also, as far as adjusting the height, that's another popular question, is determining how high or how low that desk should be set for you. If you have it too high, you're definitely in danger of putting pressure on your carpal tunnel, but then also putting pressure on your neck and shoulders by making yourself lean onto that desktop a little bit. So the general rule of thumb there is also to utilize your belly button and make sure that the desktop is about level with your belly button there when you're sitting or standing. And as these items do get cheaper and people make their own, we want to make sure that we do provide options that are easy to adjust, easy to install, and understand the proper movement that's associated with them. So we've made a little cheat sheet for you. We talked about any vertical that's out there and some of the key products that you could actually put into the different verticals that would be meaningful to those customers. So we'll start with education. As we all have known a teacher in our lifetime, they're always on the go, they're constantly moving, and we want to make their lives easier. Having a little wireless keyboard or mouse pointer, all in one item that they can actually move around the classroom and be able to sit next to that problem child and not reach over another child and actually have it in their hand makes ergonomics key for that teacher. Allowing them to be able to go between sitting and standing, and so they're not having to hunch over their desktop to change a slide or work on something with another student is another key area to provide good ergonomics in education. And then lastly, with the education piece, the anti-fatigue mats, everyone wants to take a break. Our teachers can't, they're constantly on the move. And so having an anti-fatigue mat in the classroom or even a resource room in front of the copier, anywhere that you can think of that those teachers could have a little bit of a rest for their feet would be a great place to sell that product. In the finance, government, healthcare sector, where those people are doing a lot of data and looking at their screens all day long, some might be on the go with the Surface Go, and providing a case and a lock that's appropriate for that is a great solution there. And then also for people that are looking at a lot of data that might need 1 or 2 monitors, have some adjustability available, the one-touch monitor arms are a great solution to be able to provide easy adjustability for all of the data that they're looking at. And then with the trackballs, some people get a little bit scared of utilizing a trackball, but we have really great options out there that make them very user-friendly, very ergonomic, using for the left or the right hand, and making sure that they can keep that shoulder in a nice stable position next to their body while using it. A lot of times when people are mousing all day long, they end up grabbing the mouse too tightly or deviating or moving their wrist too much, and it causes a lot of shoulder or wrist tension. So utilizing a trackball for these types of situations is a great affordable way to get those people comfortable. And then for corporate structure or small and medium businesses, having a standard for a backpack or a bag is a great way to offer those products and then put other items inside it. Our contour line actually contours to your back for the backpack, and then while you're holding the briefcase as well, it molds to your body as far as being around your hip when you're carrying it. And it fits a lot of great products in them and not being a very large size to do so. And then having a footrest, there's lots of different varieties out there, but like I said, one of the most important ergonomic features is making sure that it's adjustable in height, as well as being able to rock. Our footrest actually have the Smart Fit technology built into them, so you can adjust it based on that color coding system without a lot of guesswork in there. And then having a mobile dock to make connectivity easier as well is a great way to be able to reduce all of the cords that you need to take with you and make it easier to connect on the go. So I hope you guys are still listening, but in conclusion, some of the three main things that we've covered today, just to recap, would be that ergonomics is definitely increasing and it will continue to grow exponentially. So I want to make sure that we're able to leverage that market growth and that increased mobility in the workforce and look at all of the trends to attach accessories that help us meet our customers' compliance, productivity, and wellness needs for the workforce. And then secondly, ergonomic adjustments don't have to be hard. Making sure that they're easy to adjust using the Smart Fit solutions, it allows us to have a lot of attach opportunities for a really broad customer base to not be in that specialty realm that people think of sometimes with ergo. And also you saw the numbers. It absolutely pays to accessorize by having those attach opportunities. Decision makers may not have budgeted for the ergonomic solutions there, but when the market demands a focus on it, if you start asking about what injuries they've had or what employee complaints have been there, you have the option to provide a full comprehensive solution and increase that margin by selling those attached.
All right, well, thank you for attending our training on health as well, the rise of ergonomics in the mobile workforce. We hope you found it helpful and learned a few things that you can take away.